Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unbiased America Live. I know we were off the air for a little while. That was so Grant could engage in his favorite vocation of bomb making. He also took a trip to New York City last week, and I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm not making any inferences, but that's where he was. That's a fact. Anyway, we are here with our regular panel. We have Grant, who is drinking a beer, which is, Anyway, I'm not going to say anything about that either. We also have Matt Palumbo. He's there in his grandma's basement. Is it your grandma's?
No,
or is it your mom's?
Mommy's.
Your mom's, okay. Your mommy's. What time's dinner?
An hour ago.
Oh, you already ate. That's great.
Not even a joke.
Yeah, that's actually serious.
Yeah.
We also have Michael Lee, who is in a completely sterile room. God only knows what goes on in there. Michael Dexter Lee. From Unbiased America. We have Josie coming on here in a hot second. Looks like she's having some technical difficulties, but we're back. Myself, Will Riccadella from Unbiased America, and we have as our guest Maj Toure, who came on a couple of months ago, and we were talking about what you're doing. Since then, I've seen you on Fox News. I saw you with on a few other things. I can't remember what they are. You're everywhere. I saw you with our friend Antonio Okafor. Tell us what you're doing now. You're on a tour, correct? You're going from city to city?
Yeah, we're on the Black Guns Matter tour. We going from wherever the homicide rates are up and the gun control laws are like stupid. We go there to try to get people informed and get them to start galvanizing to change those retarded laws.
What was it? So how many cities have you been to so far?
3. We hit Chicago next.
And where was the first 2 cities?
Philly. No, actually 2. Chicago will be 3rd. Philly, Baltimore was last Sunday, and Chicago in a little bit.
Okay, and how are you funding this?
GoFundMe, hoodie sales.
Hoodie sales?
Yeah, anybody that wants to donate, just donate. Shouts to Coleon Noir who gave us $1,000. But just the people, everybody asks, "Oh, you must be the NRA's puppet," and it's like. The NRA has not cut me a check. We support it all by people that think.
What about the Koch brothers? Are they supporting you?
Who?
The Koch brothers?
No.
It's not them either?
No, nobody.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely sure.
Okay, cool. Because that's where we get our money from.
Yeah.
All right. So you've gone to Philly, Baltimore, and then Chicago next. And when you're getting to these cities, can you tell us the GoFundMe page?
Yeah, GoFundMe
where people can go
/Black Guns Matter. Or
okay.
That and the Solutionary Big Cartel page where bigcartel.com Black Guns Matter or something like that. But you can get the.
And this is all linked from your personal page too, right? Like they can go to your Twitter page and they can go to your Facebook page.
Yeah,
it's linked.
they can get my Twitter, my Instagram is @Maj Toure, MajToure, and the Facebook is the same, Maj Toure, same thing. And official Black Guns Matter _Maj Toure on Facebook too.
All right. And when you go to these cities, are people aware? Do they care? What do they say about the restrictive gun laws? Are there people that are trying to get guns and can't get them?
Yes, it's a mixture between a lot of 2A people come just to support because they already know the rumble and they know like a lot of people don't have the information, so they show up. By and large, it's people that just have a bunch of questions about firearms, but they know they're drawn to them, but they don't really know what to do. I mean, like you'd be surprised how many times people will say, "So, like, if I want a gun, like, what do I have to do?" So we get a lot of that, which is good because that means that's the rank and file. They're just missing the information. And we do get a lot of people that have legal questions. So what we try to do is link everybody in that city with reputable people from that city so they can maintain and expand on their own relationships after we leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're experiencing people that are having law-abiding citizens that are having a hard time getting guns. Do they feel that for example, like violent criminals in their city have an unfair advantage?
Nah, they feel that way too. For the most part, they do. But really, it's not. To be perfectly honest, it's not necessarily about the violent criminals so much. We so used to crime that it's just like loud music to us. You know what I mean? So with that being the case, a lot of times we just want to know where we can get the information and how we can go about protecting ourselves. Honestly, not just from criminals, that's the actual citizens. A lot of times it's from, defending themselves against police brutality, to be perfectly honest. So and just knowing their rights. It doesn't necessarily mean firearm just for, you know, a road cop. But a lot of times it's just for what are my actual rights in regards to, you know, my human rights, me as a citizen. You know, we get in a broad mixture of those questions. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. I know Grant has a lot of questions. We'll get to him. I just want to see if one is Josie here.
No, Josie,
because I don't think your video's good.
She wanted me to say,
huh?
Maddie, tell Will it can't come on, and also, but I'm listening, and tell Maj I love him.
Oh.
Okay.
Love you too.
Okay, cool. So I wanted
panties.
Yeah, there you go. There it is. And you could send them to his GoFundMe page, and then from there he could sell them and probably get a ton of money. But I would keep them if it was me. All right, Mike, do you have any questions for Maj?
Yeah, actually, I'm just kind of curious. What when you're talking to people, especially when you're talking to people in these inner cities, and you're talking about the issue of guns, do you receive any pushback from the black community when you're there that they think that there should be more gun restriction? I mean, 'cause you said you're already in cities that there's a lot of gun restriction, right?
Mm-hmm. The people that are coming out, usually I get pushback from people like in cyberspace. That's not really real people, you know. But the real people that come to the event genuinely are coming to get informed. They don't really have a chip on their shoulder. They just know that they don't know, and because you know, I look like, you know, I look like them. I feel like them. You know, they can sense the genuineness. So because of that, they go, all right, let me see what it's about. And when they come through and they see, okay, this is legit. It's actual information here. We have both sides. When you see, like, Chicago's going to be heavy with gang members, you know, but we're going to have law enforcement there too. And when they see both sides of that and somebody being objective, they receive it a lot better. But the pushback is from, if you're already anti-gun, I don't really care. I'm not really interested in talking to you. Like, I mean, you're welcome to. But if you come in with an agenda of maintaining the status quo that's getting people killed and murdered and children picking up guns and killing themselves because of misinformation, not because the tool is just bad, I don't really have no rap for you, you know. But the general public, the rank and file, I mean, just like Josie, that's the first thing. Oh, I love what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. You know what I mean? And it's missing. If I got more pushback, you know, I probably would just only talk to the 2A community because it's comforting. You know, but the general public, they with it.
My follow-up question for that, I'm just curious. I know that there's a lot of illegal guns floating around in inner cities, and you'd be more experienced with this than me. Do you know, is there a high percentage, a low percentage of people, inner city people that have concealed carry permits or actually legally carry? What's the atmosphere like with that? Do you have a lot of those or not so many?
A lot of my friends are illegal gun carriers. I grew up with them. They're illegal based on the stat game. They're illegal because they had, you know, in whatever city they might have had 3 weed possessions, and now, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but that might be the felony now. You know what I mean? And they still outside doing their thing. So I'm never gonna tell, and I get in a lot of trouble a lot of times when I say this. I am never gonna tell anybody from any community to not have a firearm. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say, as an adult, you're aware of what you're doing. You know the laws of the land. You're putting yourself in jeopardy if you choose to do it. But some of these are my friends that are outside. They rather get caught with it than caught without it. You know, so what we at least try to do with them, and all of those guys are familiar with what I do, and they, you know, they at least submit to, yo, send your lady, or at least come down to the classrooms and get, you know, at least know how to secure that firearm properly in the house. It's the best I could do, you know, and I can't really bang with you if you're not at least going to do that, you know. So I'm not going to tell, the laws are structured in such a way, you know, like the Rockefeller laws for you know, even though that's drugs, the laws are structured in such a way in a lot of urban areas that you caught the case because you couldn't afford, you know, certain states, if you bounce a check, that's a felony. You know what I'm saying? So now you had this felony, not a violent felony. You got this thing on your jacket, and I know that game. So those guys, I try to give them the best information. I try to get them to get their wives or their girlfriends or their parents or whoever to come down and get the training, and they learn third party. We still try to, it's more cerebral at that point. We still try to change their mentality, but I'm not going to tell them not to have a firearm. They grown. They're making the choices that they're making, you know, but I am going to advocate for them to get safe and you know, if you shooting it out, you know, before y'all had a shootout, let's have a sit down. Let's communicate. Let's come to the the conflict resolution piece. Let's deal with de-escalation. I'm always going to promote that to them.
So more firearms education than worrying about the law is what you focus on.
We focus on firearms education and training. We are concerned about the law because we want to make sure that we're not telling anybody to go break the law. That's stupid. Because I am not giving you bail money for something. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we also focus on the law as well, because you got to know it. A lot of the people that come aren't the illegal carriers. My personal friends, a lot of those guys are illegal carriers, But we focus on the law too, because you can't overturn it if you don't know it, And that's another reason how we get jammed up a lot of times. So many, I think we was talking about this the last time. So many of the younger guys, 21, 22, they get the gun, they buy it with their debit card. They don't have no felonies. They bought the gun. They passed the criminal background check, but they still moving around with the firearm, not knowing that now you have to, get the license to carry. You got to fill out your paperwork. You got to wait a little bit, let that come back, but then they catch the case just based on them not knowing. Now that person technically is now a felon. If I carry my firearm in Love Park in Philly, if I want to take a picture in front of the Love sign, and if I get caught with my firearm, that is a felony. So some of those laws is, we got to focus on them in order to overturn them. So we definitely focus on it. I just personally, my personal individual belief is that a lot of that is game designed to disarm over time. It's an encroachment on every area. So I don't judge people for their positions, because of that. I just try to give them information and help them move a little better.
Okay.
Are you saying that it's added costs, all this paperwork and all this other kind of legal stuff? It's like added costs to acquiring a firearm?
Well, in Philly,
if that makes sense.
In Philly for it's 30. It's like $25 to $35 for your license to carry. A lot of times, because Philly's really, really, really anti-gun for the most part, even though the rest of Pennsylvania is really pro-gun, Philly will create, statutes that supersede the state constitution, right? Even though it's illegal, but you're still in it until somebody from the city rumbles it all the way to the state.
As standing, right.
You know what I mean? So and that
added costs, not just monetarily, but added costs from a legal standpoint. I got to have all this time to fill out this paperwork. Yeah. Then this is going to be litigated, like you said, and in the meantime, people aren't able to arm themselves.
Right.
Right.
And that's how they win a lot. They win because, the beautiful thing about my past is I sold a lot of weed, so I could sit on some money for a while. I don't have to go 9 to 5.
Grant can relate.
Huh?
I said Grant can relate. So
right. See what I'm saying? It's like I have time. If once you get my attention, you're gonna have my attention, and I'm gonna concentrate on you. Everyone else doesn't have that luxury, so that's how they win, because they know you got to go to school, you got to go to class, you got to go to work. You know what I mean? And then they just wait you out. And then if you hire a lawyer because you don't think you can do a lot of these things yourself, you hire a lawyer, that the economic drain. It's very systematic, and it's what I call a beautiful ugly. It's beautiful in its precision, but it's ugly what their intent is. You feel me?
Right. Let me get to Matt here. Isn't it bad when more people have guns? I mean, like if Maj is out there and he's saying, hey, this is how you legally get your weapon, aren't more people going to be killed by guns?
Well, first of all, I think all guns matter. No, I mean, it depends who owns the guns, right? I mean, if cops have one, I think we all agree. In most of the cases, it's good. If criminals have them, it's bad. I thought it was interesting when Maj was talking about, I guess, like, if someone gets caught with drugs 3 times and have a felony and can't own a firearm. I don't know. I never really thought of that aspect of it. Like, I've seen statistics that something like 1 in 3 black men will go to prison at some time in their life, and for many cases, it's for a non-violent crime or something stupid, maybe like a mandatory minimum for a drug sentence. I didn't know like what percentage of blacks maybe can't own firearms for that reason, and I guess if there's anything we could do about that.
Well,
okay, but go ahead. Go ahead, Maj. You go if you have it.
See, this is the unfortunate part. Some of those things that the laws that's created that you get victimized by. If you're not, we were talking about this earlier. When you're not from the environment, you don't even see how it's structured a certain way. It's like, again, keep bringing it up, the Rockefeller laws. the time that I'm gonna get for the crack is, 10 times more if it's the same amount of coke. Powder's in one area, crack is in another area. And crack is an old drug and everything, but the point that I'm making there is, if you're not from the environment, if you white and you in that same environment, like you from Kensington in Philly, for example, you're going to fully understand how that structure is attacking you, and you might be the white guy in Kensington. You know what I'm saying? So it's really structured environmentally. So then when you have the person that is caught up in that, because A, the ignorance, B, it's a direct attack. It's a direct target for this particular neighborhood, this type of, tax bracket or whatever. Now when that person is caught up in that, now of course you can say, oh, more black men go to jail because of X, Y, and Z, because you targeted it. It's like, if I concentrate on one particular, everybody looks great if you just concentrate on this. If that's your only thing that you're concentrating on, or it's a large concentration, then when you get caught up in it, it becomes justifiable, because then they run the stats and then they go, see, well, it's the X, Y, and Z, and it's like, okay, but you're not talking about the fact that you guys deliberately set that up that way, and then didn't inform the people.
Yeah, I kind of meant by the question, like, are there any statistics on, like, what percentage of blacks are disenfranchised from owning guns for, like, minor offenses or anything like that, or?
I don't even know. I just know, like, all right, simple possession. Again, it's the perfect example. They changed the rules. If you got simple possession of weed 3 times, it's now a felony.
All right, that's stupid.
You know what I mean? And that's dumb. And then, but here's the funny thing. So, okay, we know that marijuana legalization is about to pop off everywhere. We know that. It's coming, right? So, okay, what about the people that had the felony because of the 3, misdemeanors that turned into the felony? Now, when the laws change, do you wipe that clean?
Yeah, I don't think they did that in Colorado. I don't think they wiped it clean, but I mean, obviously, I think they should.
But you get what I'm saying? So it's like a life-size chessboard, and you didn't even know how the pieces move, because the people that were saying, "Hey, I'm going to show you how to play chess," just didn't tell you how the movement of certain pieces. It's fucked up.
All right, Grant, I know you have a ton of questions. I also know that you're probably on a terrorist watch list. So some of these questions may pertain to you, so go ahead.
Yeah, my lawyer told me to plead the 5th on the terrorist watch list. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Maj, I was listening to your interview on Cam & Co. I guess it was not too long ago, and read your piece on the NRA, America's First Freedom, and what you were hearing in Baltimore and the message you were conveying seemed to really be a root cause message, meaning we have to look at conflict resolution. We have to build relationship with police officers to understand that there's a role for them, and calm the hostility on both sides, really, and emphasizing personal responsibility, but also firearm responsibility you talked about earlier. How is this message that you're portraying, how does that differ from what and I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I personally think that the media pushes a very, and politicians too, a huge victim culture, where you're a victim because of your skin color, whereas you seem to be saying more of a self-empowerment message. Yeah. How do you believe that your message is a better selling point and a better understanding of the issue than it is to compare to this victim culture is really what I think has been created in some ways?
Well, the media and the politicians have a vested interest in making it a victim culture. See, I just balance it out. I'm aware, and the accountability goes, no, you did this. These guns that you dropped off, y'all did this. That happened. Past tense. Now, with the information, this is how we're going to fix that. I just constantly maintain a balance between objectivity and accountability on both sides. What the media and the politicians do by keeping people a victim mindset, even doing this, I'm never fucking doing this. I'm never going to do this. Fuck that. I'll shoot you first. I'm never going to do that. You understand? The surrender mentality and the victim mentality makes a person non-confident. If they're non-confident, they can never hold their nuts and really feel it, which means they could never really take control of their community. That's the reason why they play that message. So then, now if you're the victim, and if it's a cycle and it's repetitive, that police officer doesn't think that corrupt particular small minority group of law enforcement, that's the corrupt officer, thinks he can get away with it because you yourself see yourself as the victim. And there's never going to be any confident people fix shit. Confident people hold things accountable. You know what I mean? So it serves, you know, it's a lot of money and depression and lack of confidence. So, you know, if that television, it keeps repeating that, oh, we're victims, I can't breathe. Yes, I can breathe. I'm going to keep breathing. If you try to stop me from breathing, you're not going to breathe because one way or another, I'm going home. You see what I'm saying? But that's the message of, you know, going to the hood, going to these places and communicating that. Sometimes that's as important as the actual firearms information. Because when you give a person that confidence and when you go, yeah, it's like a carpenter. Yeah, I got a drill gun. You know what I mean? Because I need to do work. This is the tool. He's confident in that. He's passed his certifications, her certifications. He's got his labor card or whatever. All of those different things. He's very confident. It's the same thing with this tool. But by them leaning the narrative on one side, just making it victim, you don't ever think you can get out of it and fix it until you see somebody like me to look just like you, to think like you, to say yes you can, and this is what we're going to do. And we're not waiting on a politician. We're not waiting on nobody. I'm already doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you break it. They have a vested interest in making it one-sided. Victim, stay insecure, stay lack of confidence, stay weak, stay broke, and we ain't really with that.
Yeah, no,
who benefits from that message? Grant, who benefits from that message most?
I think
victims stay weak.
I frankly think Democrats benefit from it, and
of course,
politicians benefit from it, and it's more of a matter of
right
than it is actually accomplishing anything. And to sort of build on that aspect of, because you're right, I mean, yes, liberal Democrats win from it, but you know, a lot of these, like the NRA and other gun organizations, are really considered conservative, right-wing, whatever you want to call it, organizations, and it's not really a secret that it's mostly white men. And in your trip to Baltimore, and in the article about your trip to Baltimore, I saw that I think his name is Tim Montoya came out to your event. He's a big guy from a Maryland firearms group, and of course you do a lot of work with the NRA. So you know, there's this pervasive message that the conservative right-wing sort of groups are racist, hostile to blacks because just solely out of skin color. There's no evidence of this at all, of course. It's just because, you know, you're on the right side of politics. How are you received by the supposed right-wing organizations, these pro-gun organizations where, you know, you got crazy right-wingers like me, I got 15 guns in my basement, you know, ipso facto giant racist. So how are you received by them?
I'm received by them for two reasons. One, I am necessary for the Second Amendment fight to gain more traction. You know what I'm saying? I represent something that has. This sounds really fucking arrogant, but it's not. I represent a new paradigm in the push for Second Amendment rights. All of the people that, you know, that they didn't trust any of the other people that were trying to tell them about Second Amendment, because a lot of times those guys were cops, and historically our relationship with law enforcement ain't the best relationship. I am not a cop, you know what I mean, and it represents something that, okay, I can trust this guy, you know what I mean. It's like Coleon Noir. If they even, I know that a lot of dudes from the hood will rock with him, but they don't even know who he is because of where he's already at. Mine's is already starting on the ground level. You know what I mean? And I'm not pretending to be something I'm not. So because of that shows value. The value that I have represents a different market. They just have to, groups like the NRA and these other people need to also figure out and understand that you can get this whole next demographic without messing up your basic money. They're afraid about, you know, messing up they old money. Most of the NRA is, you know, like you said, white males. But when more and more white males see that, yo, this guy's doing exactly what we need, what we have to do, because the other side, I'm gonna keep it 100. They are controlling the narrative on the media. They make it. They real good at it. They real good at tricking it. And because they do, for by and large, get the Democratic vote, they never had somebody that looks like a Democrat, that is a Republican, that relates to the hood. So they receive me very well once they understand that this ain't no flash in the pan bullshit.
You know, Maj, I actually was listening. I don't know how long ago it was. It was recent. Barack Obama stood up and basically pled to a group of African Americans that if they didn't go out to vote for Hillary Clinton, it would be an insult to his legacy. So I just, of course, that just sounds utterly ridiculous. So I did some Googling and just looked up the census statistics of his tenure. And as it turns out, black median household income declined significantly and reversed a very long-term trend upwards, completely reversed during his time. And the same went for the poverty rate. Black poverty was declining since 2002. And it has not been the same ever since, not even close.
And Grant, if you look at race relations too, they're in the polls at the lowest.
They're worse.
Absolutely, they're worse. And here's this guy standing up there pleading with you, saying it's an insult to my legacy if you vote Democrat.
See,
if I'm someone like you, Maj, I would be insulted by that.
Well,
that's just like, you think I'm stupid?
Me being an objective chess player, it's just they move on the board. I understand it. Me personally, I understand it. And here's the other thing. That's the reason why the Second Amendment rumble isn't rumbling. They're much better at straight swaying people smoothly. You understand? The truth is like a bat. And a lot of times, the 2A community, we're just truth, facts. The problem with that is it's no emotional appeal. It's like guns, for example, guns in the hood got to be, it got to look cool. I don't know who just dropped out. Am I still here?
You're still here. Go ahead.
I was insulted. I was insulted when he re-signed the Patriot Act. I was insulted the fact that marijuana wasn't legalized. You know what I'm saying? I was insulted early in the game, but I'm not the people that my level of understanding of the game is a different thing. And the reality also is Republican, Democrat, the people are going to make decisions. And when you start to inform them about like, yo, this is two sides to a specific coin, you actually have more power than you're giving away or hoping that of any presidential candidate is going to fix for you. When you do that, you automatically giving your power away. You know what I mean? So I was insulted. I'm insulted by, the shit Trump says. I'm insulted by every 4 years, everybody thinks that one of these two particular people is going to fix it. None of them are. None of them are, in my opinion. None of them are going to fix it. Every 4 years, we had the same thing. I was so hyped when, I was like, oh, Obama, symbolically, okay, I get it. But life is about more than symbols. I don't care about your symbols. I care about what is actually getting done. So it was offensive, but I know the game. All of that's game. It's all game. Unfortunately, some people going to bite for it, and it's unfortunate, but it's an ugly reality. And we just got to make sure that we informing the general public about their rights, regardless of who's in president. First of all, the president ain't chosen by a popular vote. Like the general public doesn't even know that. So we got to hit them with the information on that side and show them how they being tricked. That's just my take on it.
Well, I want to bring up what Maj said about Trump and ask you about it. We've been talking about how government policy prohibits blacks from owning guns, exercising their Second Amendment rights. Donald Trump today said that he supports stop and frisk, which is, I think, a blatant violation of the Fourth Amendment. And, of course, it adversely impacts black community. Do you think it's Fourth Amendment violation entirely, or what? I'm curious what your take is on it.
I think the state.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. It should be litigated, but I don't think so. If you're on the street and you're walking in a area and, any level of suspicion can do it, it's really up for litigators to decide. I'm looking at this objectively. If I'm looking at the law, I'm going to say that if you're on the street and you look suspicious, that might give you probable cause. I'm not saying I agree with it or not. I'm saying it's helped these communities. It's lowered murder rates. So there's a trade-off to everything. Either don't do stop and frisk, more people die, murder rates go up. Do stop and frisk, murder rates go down. So it depends. I don't know. I mean, if you litigate it, you can say, hey, a police officer can't stop some law-abiding citizen from walking down the street. And do it. They can't stop and frisk.
I'm not talking about like someone walking down the street and someone just says, and the cop just says, oh, I want to pat you down. That's a blatant violation of the Fourth Amendment.
No, not really. That's iffy.
If you're standing there and even in Philly where pot's decriminalized, if you're standing there smoking a joint and the cop wants to give you a ticket, then yeah, if he pats you down, that's probable cause.
No. Well, it would have to be litigated for probable cause. Anyone can look suspicious. So you say this guy looks suspicious. Wait right there. It would have to be litigated.
It is up to litigators. It's not really like
right. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're walking down the street and you're armed, and somebody stops and you have an illegal weapon, nothing happens. So I mean, it has to be. I'm saying it like when I go to the airport, the cops pull me over, and they stop me. I'm saying I'm just trying to go into the airport, but they stop me. I have to get out of my car. I have to show them what's in my trunk. Is that illegal? Just because I'm going to the airport? Because I'm driving down the street.
There is definitely a line.
No,
I do agree.
Right.
Not a police issue.
Right now, I don't have an answer to that. I would like to say I don't want to see that happen.
I
think that. Go ahead.
That shit is it's a violation. Period. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. This ain't the fucking Minority Report. You can't predetermine that because I look suspicious because I got a hoodie on. Come on, that's bullshit. Leave me alone. If I do the thing, get me for the thing. That's it. I mean, it's very simple. We can't just. We throwing away liberties because we want security. Prisons are secure.
I'm not saying I agree with it or not. I'm just telling you what the law is, and that's what there are costs and benefits to everything. Again, people say, "Hey, I care about the black community." Stop and frisks saves lives. It does. So people see that and they say, "Hey, this is saving people's lives." At what cost? Everything's at what cost?
I don't think that's an acceptable exchange of liberty.
Nope.
In the sense that you can just get stopped while you're walking down the street. But like I said, if you're doing something else and it's very obvious that you're doing something else, or if this building alarm's going off and you're standing right next to it, then yeah.
Right. Again, I'm not talking about the acceptability to you or to Bob or to me or to anybody. I'm just talking about the facts and the law. I don't care who. This is the thing when you talk about the law. I just say what the law is. Everybody tells me. I'm just, you know what I mean. I'm not making any moral judgments on it. I'm just saying that it's a blurry line.
When I think stop and frisk, when I think stop and frisk problems, I think just stopping random people for the hell of it.
Right.
That's literally what it is. Stop and frisk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been successful in New York City and other cities that have tried it.
It has proven to lower crime rates, though. Which
you have to understand, though, if there were other laws where it wasn't so difficult to get a weapon or a gun, you probably wouldn't need it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
You probably wouldn't need it.
So, if you made laws that made it so difficult for firearms and in a certain demographic, like my friends are going, hey, I'd rather get caught with it than without it because it's crazy. It's some savages out here, right? Now there's a stop and frisk, because obviously he doesn't have information. This guy's printing. The cop sees that he's printing. You're in New York. There's no way that you have a license to carry. Boom. Now it's a stat game. It's a stat game.
Well, it's a government solution to a government-created problem. That tends to be what it is. And then you run into it's the same thing with Obamacare. And then you have the religious exemption. When you have all these laws, you have all these problems that stem from these things. Right. Everyone has to provide birth control. Well, Catholics don't believe in it. Do Catholic institutions have to provide it too? Oh, well, no. And then you have, Catholics don't want to marry same-sex couples, but now it's a right. So if a Catholic church doesn't want to do it, you know what I mean? Then you have to have solutions that come off of these problems from big government. And that tends to be what it is.
Or the solutions need to come, in my opinion, the solutions need to come from the people. Review boards, and we sit down and we figure it out. We can't just...
But the people don't do that. The people don't pay attention, you see. No one cares about the law. I could talk about the law all day till I'm blue in the face. Look, everyone's talking about... Black Lives Matter, and they worried about one cop in Ferguson, and half of it, the facts never even came out. Half of it happened to be the other thing, or it wasn't even true. But no one talks about the New Deal, the racist policies of the New Deal. No one talks about the state and what the state has done. When racism was a lot more prevalent in society at the turn of the century, neighborhoods were far more integrated. Nobody talks about why they're not anymore. No one talks about how the government created ghettos. No one cares, you see?
No, that's not true.
Nobody cares.
We do. The people that have been robbed of their voice, the people that they have ignored, the hoods that we go to at Black Guns Matter, they talk about it. We talk about it all the time. Here's the drawback.
I don't see these leaders in these communities mention a word of it. Well, what has the minimum wage done other than allied all the costs of discrimination? And I mean that by, let's say minimum wage is $10. White kid comes in, black kid comes in. And the white kid says, I won't take anything less than $10. Black kid says, I'll take $8.
Mhm.
Oh, it's going to cost me $2 more to hire the white kid. I'm not going to do it. Well, now you have a minimum wage of $10. And it's going to say, I'll take the white kid because I can't pay less for the black. It elides the costs altogether. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to talk about how it was a racist law before. I know that we do. We do this all the time, but nobody listens to us. People listen to these people on TV, the media, the narratives, all this crap that's created. No one listens to us.
Will, you're having a victim mindset right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like they create that narrative that they're a victim. How do we combat it? That's the thing.
This right now, what we're doing right now, like think about. I mean, this is gonna sound a little philosophical and cheesy for a quick second, but think about behind you right now. You got all of Britannica and shit, and you have and you have this show and the conversation and the dialogue that we're having, social media, these types of things. Black Guns Matter as an organization. You know how many people said, oh, nobody in the hood's going to listen to you. You're going to get shot as soon as you go to Baltimore. You know how much hate mail I get every day? You're doing it.
No, I know. But I feel like we're little chihuahuas biting at the ankle of this narrative media giant.
You're not. That's the equivalent of saying, it was only 13 first states. Britain had all of the money. Britain had all of the money. All of the power. It's a few dudes that was like, man, fuck this. We out. We're not doing this. You cannot.
No, I agree, but that was a movement.
No.
That was a movement based on philosophy, on truth.
Don't agree and say but. You agree or you
Truth is dead, my friend.
Huh?
The truth is dead, my man. The truth no longer matters. It's dead.
Is that statement?
And that movement was predicated on the truth, on the Enlightenment period, on philosophy, on what is true.
I cannot believe that.
I try every day, but I see it all the time. I see, you don't know what's been brutalized and what's been killed unjustly, the truth. But Mike, I know you have something to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, yes, I know, Josie. I'm running the show here. Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
I was really entertained by this little dialogue you guys are having. That was good. No, I think there's some truth to kind of what both of you are saying. Going back to I wanted to point out, but Will kind of hit on it. Going back to the stop and frisk law, this is another thing where the government creates a problem, and what is it that libertarians say all the time? They're going to break your leg and then they're going to hand you a crutch. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with stop and frisk from a moral standpoint, but I do understand why people think it's necessary, and I have seen the impact it's had on a lot of inner cities. But what I want to know, and I think that probably Maj can speak to this, how do we get the message out to tell people that this is a government-created problem and we wouldn't need government solutions if we got the government out of the way to begin with? How can you get that message to people in the inner city, especially because this is a demographic that votes for more government consistently all the time. So how do we get them to understand that this is a government-created problem to begin with?
Well, one, you have to have y'all. This is where Mike is right. If it comes from you guys initially alone, it's skeptical. You know what I mean? Because it's not a person that's vetted, that's been on TV, that's democratic, that they already trust. People like me that have the information that can translate, you guys need translators. You know what I'm saying? That the people in those demographics already trust. You know what I mean? You cannot, you can't go into the hood without a cosign. And if the person goes, oh, he with you, Maj, he cool, I should listen to him? Yeah, he cool because of A, B, C, D through Z. And then when you develop and foster that relationship, but it has to then become that group or demographic has to be able to stand on their own by applying that information. Then you gotta get the fuck out of there. You know what I'm saying? But you have to create a space where those people are led and translated the information. Then when they start to see, when I tell people, when they hit me with the, oh, you a Republican, they X, Y, and Z, when I go, well, Dr. King was a Republican and your grandmother has him framed in her living room. Then they go, oh, word, for real? And then they're a little bit more open to it. Then when I tell them that more countries of color were bombed during the Clinton administration and any time in Earth's history, they go, word? The information from a source that they trust that's not going to bullshit them or take advantage of them, They take the information and quit. I have friends in real life situations that were going to kill each other. They both trust me. I say, yo, it's cool. We're going to have a sit down. They trust me. That's done. You guys in your community have already developed that because you guys trust each other in the information and you go on confab and go back and forth. It's exactly the same. You guys would just this demographic, we're missing people like me that can translate the information. So people like you guys have to get behind and find other able-bodied, well-funded, a lot of resources people to funnel that information to support those types of people. And then leave it alone. Then let the hood heal itself. That's how you fix it. And then that's how we win. Same thing with the 2A fight. Y'all can't go where I go initially by yourself. Especially if y'all be wearing them wraparound fucking shades and shit. You look like cops. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, you have to go somebody that's vetted. Yo, you trust him? Yeah, it's cool. And then that information applies and then it can stand on its own. But until then, they're doing a better job. The Democratic Party and that type of mentality is doing a better PR job than we are for a very long time. They understand marketing and perception and reality a lot better than that.
So let me ask you this, Maj. Do you feel like it's about like teams? You're on the red team, you're on the blue team, and little do they know about any of the real issues that kind of matter?
No, I think they think they're on separate teams because they've been tricked to think that. They've been tricked to think that.
Right, that's what I mean. It's just a team thing, and it's not like I'm talking about the teams, and then you have the issues, and no one's debating the issues, and they're just like, I'm on this team, I'm on that team, you're not on my team, and they really like it. And then if you get into the, like you said, there's, you go to these communities, and a lot of them, they're like, oh yeah, I want to get a gun, and they want to, you know what I mean? And then when it comes to actually voting, it's like, well, I voted I'm on a Democrat team.
Right.
And what team are you on, see? And when you get into the issues, they're kind of on your side, right?
Right. Because when I focus just on the issue, then when I show them, and that's a lot of work. Again, I don't punch a clock. I don't have a 9 to 5, so I can find some stuff out, translate it for them, and give it to them. And then they go, damn, I didn't even know that. Then they start to see how they've been duped. The thing that you thought was the whole thing, the whole time was game. You in the Matrix, son. Unplug. When you show them that, they go, well, where the fuck else was I in the Matrix? But you got to talk about the issue. You can't. I don't even trigger. I don't even deal with. No pun intended. I don't deal with anything that triggers their already conditioning. I just deal straight with the issue. The enlightenment gets them to the point of, well, wait a minute. Then they start asking them questions. The questions demand an answer, even if you don't verbalize it. It's in your thought. And then if I'm your plug that you're going to have the questions for, you're going to come ask me again. I'm your connect. Then when I give you more information, then you go more. Then I prop you up. I don't want your muscles. See that the people in power want your muscles to atrophy. I want you to get in the gym and strengthen your muscles. You know what I'm saying? But that you got to commit to that, and you got to almost kind of got to like be from that hood. So you kind of got to do it in your community, because otherwise you don't have no vested interest. Why would you put this much time into this shit? You know what I mean? It's not a busload of, chicks with huge racks waiting for this job. Like the rock stars of the 2A community aren't getting a gang of chicks. Like, it's not happening.
They're waiting for me, clearly. So that's why.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like you have to have a love for your community first. That's why when I say politics is local, it's because I do this for free all the time because I see the benefit. You know what I mean? But that's how you change it. But you guys, you got kind of a weird position because you have the information, but you don't have the trust. You got the connect, but you don't have the clientele. So you have to have a middleman. You feel me? It's just like, what do they call them? Yeah. What do they call them? What are those brave ass white dudes that be walking through? What are they called?
The Avengers?
Missionaries.
Oh,
those guys?
Yeah, missionaries, like, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, even though it's boring ass sex,
you're bringing up,
they this, you know what I mean? They right in there. So it's like you have to have that conduit, and that person has to have the genuine interest of the community at heart. So he not selling.
I think that's what we all do. We all do that here, like you said. Like that's why we all do what we do.
Right.
It just feels like sometimes, and I don't know if you feel like this, and I know that we do. Sometimes you just feel buried, like, you're this lone voice, screaming in a room and no one's paying attention. No, you could show them. We can bring out statistics. Matt knows this. You could put it right in front of their face and say, this here, this is it. Nope, they don't care. You
No.
could argue it all day. You're a jerk. You like Trump. You like Hitler. Doesn't matter. I mean, this is what we deal with.
Let me tell you what you're missing.
No, it matters to me, but I'm saying to the lot of people, it seems that the truth, Matt, they don't care.
No, listen to what I'm telling you. This is your answer. It's the key component of what you're missing that's going to change. I'm about to get you so much new chicks. It's happening. Okay? This is what you're missing. You're missing. You have the stats. You have the facts. You have to appeal to them on an emotional level. The Democratic Party knows how to do that. This other side of it, or that mentality, because again, I don't want to go red team, blue team. For our position, he got on camera and said, I would be offended if it's a disrespect to my legacy. It's such an arrogant statement. However, he's already appealed to their emotional side. We don't do that because we focus on facts.
It's racism, what he said. That's racism. If you're black and you don't vote for me, that's racist. That's openly, blatantly racist.
Oh, if I can jump
That's like saying if you're white and go ahead, Matt.
Speaking of chicks, Josie just texted me asking if Maj should stay after the show a little bit. I'm guessing it has to do with the whole logistics of the panties situation.
Yeah,
so
I got you.
Thought I'd put it in there. All right.
No, but you see what I mean? It's like if I were to get up there, if anyone was to get up there, hey, if you're white, you don't vote for me. You're awful. You see what I mean? This is like it's a coordinated effort in institutions, in academia, in government institutions. This is a default position, and I'm saying not everybody thinks this way, and you're correct, and I agree with you. But I'm saying the loudest voices do, and they have the most influence. And when it comes down to combating them, I could do it. I'm emotional all the time. I'm an Italian Catholic kid from New York. Yeah, I get into it. We'll talk. I'll give them stories.
They don't doing this.
Yeah, your hands move. They don't care. And it's like no matter what, they've picked a team, you see, and they have to go along with that team in lockstep. And it's like, well, I don't. Go ahead, Grant.
They don't have to go with the team. Your argument makes them further cement to the team. You're speaking about cognitive dissonance. You're speaking about dealing straight, looking right at the facts, and it's fucking Stockholm syndrome. I get it.
No kidding. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is how you break that is for a split second, focus more on what they're losing, what we're losing, what we have to gain, and focus on that and lead with that. It's like you can't. It's like I hate to simplify it. If it's a hot female, you want at the end. I don't want to take you on this $300 dinner and not have a payout at the end of this dinner. But you can't say, hey, are you going to put out at the end of this dinner? Even though factually you can run down all of the, hey, the movie was this much, the bottle of wine was this much, we took you to this restaurant, I had to get the reservations however long in advance.
You had to open your door. Stuff.
You can't use any of those stats. If you use any of that stat, you automatically lose her. But if you let go of your desired outcome and just focus on the actual moment, you get in the BJ. You got to apply that same philosophy. And I hate that it sounds so crass.
Grant has no idea what you're talking about right now, but go ahead.
At the end of the day, you cannot, again, they are winning. People forget what you tell them. People forget what you say to them. They remember how you make them feel. When we hit them with statistics and it's off of what their, status quo is, we're rubbing them the wrong way. You have to make them feel a certain way because your information is already sound. It's legit. You've already done the math. They're not focused on math. They're focused on emotionalism. That is why the other side is winning the majority of the time. Nobody, and the reason why I'm making headway with this two-way fight is because no one ever sees me with a gun. No one ever sees me with a firearm, ever. But I make the concept of firearms cool because I'm cool. Now you want to know what that is. That's appealing on an emotional level. War is holistic. You know what I mean?
So we got 10 minutes. I want to get Mike in here. Mike, I know you have something to add here. I was just, from Maj's point of everything's emotional to my point of I'm not, when I'm not reeling off statistics. I'm making actual arguments, emotional arguments. Do you think that from Maj's standpoint that in order to reach these people, it's purely emotional, and then if so, then how do you do it? How do you become, whatever, this emotional? I don't, what kind of arguments do you make, and how do you get past?
I agree 100% with what he's saying. I might not have used that analogy, but no, he was spot on. And I've said this a million times. We talk about how Democrats are winning in the inner cities, and how, and I asked him earlier, how do we get our message across to these people and say, hey, look, this is a government problem here, and this is a government solution to a government problem. Democrats are selling the inner city, and they're selling people solutions that don't, and people don't care about the facts. Democrats are appealing on an emotional level. We believe you're a victim, we're going to help you, and they make people feel that. And then we come in.
But also, isn't it economic incentives? It's not just a feeling. They're getting things.
Yeah, but they are providing. They're telling them. They're making them feel like a victim. They're connecting with them, and then they're saying, now we're going to do something for you, because after they make that connection, now we're going to do something for you. We come in and we just tell them they're wrong, and we list a million reasons they're wrong. But by this point, they don't care. They don't care anymore because they've already connected with the other argument. And so
you're saying it's more? Are you saying it's more the argument rather than they necessarily need government to help them? A single mom with 3 kids, is she going to vote against her own self-interest when she's getting government largesse or certain things in these communities? You're saying it's just because Hillary seems nice, or do people act at the margins and they're going to react to their own self-interest, and that's what they vote for, right?
They vote that way after they've already been. Listen. If she decided she's going to give you some that night of the dinner, she's already made that decision because of how you made her feel. So, and the thing is, you still have to give her the meal. You still have to have that good time. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing. The feelings come, then the Obama phone. Then this is what you get what I'm saying?
No, I totally hear you.
They're giving you something.
But let's say I don't have to work for anything and she's guaranteed me something. Okay, and then maybe I get a little handy. Okay, that's what I'm guaranteed, so I don't have to work for anything. I don't have to take her. I don't have to take her to a movie. I don't have to do anything. But if you really want to get the whole shabazz, that's what you got to do. You got to take her to the movie. You got to you got to go through all the steps, right? And then some people tend to do that. They grew up in an atmosphere where that's what they're doing. Some people just wanted to get the handy. You know what I mean? So it's like then you're mad at the other guy because he went through all this work to get to the. To get the full shebang, and then everyone's else. I'm just getting handies over here, and I'm not getting the whole thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Guys, you guys are talking about handies and bouquets. What are these things?
This is an analogy. But you see what I mean? And then it's like, then I'm going to vote for the people. Yeah. Then I'm going to vote. I'm going to say, look, I'm going to vote for people. I want to get more, but I don't want to have to do any of the work for it. And then I'm going to see. It's basically more of a cultural aspect, an incentive aspect. What are my incentives to do the work or vote? And then the Democrats are out there telling, well, you're going to get a handy and a blowy. All right, great.
Well. The back to your point about the single mom with 3 kids. I don't think that. I mean, yeah, she's voting in her self-interest. She's going to vote Democrat. She's going to vote for government.
But a lot of the reason she's like that already is because of the incentives created.
But she is the byproduct of Democratic policy.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So it's perpetual. That's what I mean.
So
right.
In the middle of the
that's what the Democrats want to do.
In the
yes.
In the middle of the perpetual cycle, in order to stop it. Some of the things that you have to do to stop it is, 1, acknowledging it and changing your entire structure, changing your approach. Your end game is still your end game. I'm just telling you that the reason why they continue to do this is because they appeal that way. When you're right, all you get for being right is being right. You're right. They're winning. I believe that.
Yeah, I just think it's difficult. I think it's difficult to tell somebody who needs the government at any particular time that, look, you don't need this. That the government has put you in this situation, and voting for more of it's only going to perpetuate it. They're going to say, I don't care. I got to feed my kid. The hell I care about what you're doing. Then you have white elitist Democrats that are going to tell you all day long that no, they need it because this paternalistic therapeutic left is going to tell you how helpful they are when they know exactly what they're doing. I don't care however many people tell me that they're just very nice. It's not that. They know what they're doing, and they love the state, and they want the state to redistribute wealth. That's what they want. This is basically that's the end game here, and that's what it's been doing, and it's been doing more and more and more.
Will, you're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
You get nothing for being right. You are now in this fight with, you can't, here's the other thing that you have to change. You can't say they anymore. It's us. You're affected by it.
Oh, for sure. That's why I care.
Right.
I mean, that's of course why. That's why that's why I do what I do. I agree with you totally. I'm just saying that I think it's a little bit harder than just messaging. I think it's more of a cultural thing.
Absolutely.
I think it's more of just an overall attitude of, look, I can do this. I can do this. I don't need the government. Why do I need Hillary? Why do I need Trump? I got me. I have my family.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have to build up communities.
Right.
Like it used to be. But everyone's going to tell you, well, you're traditional. You see, you're just this traditional buffoon. And you want to get married before you have kids? Oh, my God. You know what I mean? You're a traditional idiot.
That was the best.
Go ahead, Mike.
I've ever heard from you. That was awesome.
What's that?
That's the best messaging I've ever heard from you. You didn't go at me at all. You just spoke to me on an emotional level. That's exactly what you're talking about. That's the kind
if you were anywhere near me, I wouldn't hug you. But Maddie, I know you have something to add here. Throw something in. You've been making faces. You've just ate dinner. You have a full belly. Thanks, Mom. Go ahead.
No, nothing to add. I'm just here very entertained.
You're very. I'm glad. It's a good show. That's what we're supposed to do here.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead, Grant. I know you have something to add.
Yeah. On like what I've learned is that whenever you, and this is really just through social media experience, whenever you try to convey the limited government message to someone, the people who call you racists are white people. It's rarely ever black people that, and even if I get in a debate with a black person about, limited government is better, repeal the minimum wage, and even if they disagree with me, they won't call me a racist. White people will call me a racist. And I think that really says more about, from a liberal standpoint, is really more saying, assuming that is your intentions of what you're arguing.
Right.
That even if you say, look how the minimum wage has affected black youth employment. But we're not arguing. We're not saying race is a causal factor in this argument. We're saying it's a correlative argument. That these policies have negatively affected the economic status of the black community. The fact that it's the black community is completely disconnected from the fact that these policies have hurt them. It just so happens that these types of policies tend to affect the poorest communities. It doesn't matter what.
Right.
It's like liberals tend to.
White people, and Thomas Sowell nails this. White people in Appalachia are just as affected by this as black people in Philadelphia.
Right. Sure.
It's the same.
Go ahead, Mike.
Liberals tend to assume your worst possible motive is your only motive.
Right.
Exactly.
And once that is your broadcasted intention from all these people, you're going to get turned off. I mean, you're racist. You said that welfare causes structural unemployment in the black community. You're a racist. Okay.
Right. And it's funny.
What do I even say to that? Okay.
Like you said, Grant, a lot of this comes from white intellectuals in academia.
No.
I mean, I went to school in Compton. Right. I went to school in Compton. I talk like I talk to you guys, and I'm talking to, it tends to be black women who have kids, and they're agreeing with me. Oh, you're right. And I'm talking like this. You know what I mean? And, you go into the classrooms, it's always some white intellectual telling you how you're white and you're racist and everything's your fault. And then I'm on this, I'm with everybody in the class talking. You're absolutely right, but it's like they can't disassociate it from the class. They can't disassociate it from what's happening.
They assume that you're bringing injecting race into the argument as a causal argument, saying that that black unemployment to white unemployment as race is a causal issue. No, it's a correlative issue. It's because of what you did. It has nothing.
The paternalism's unbelievable.
Right. Right. You could be in Russia, Europe, anywhere. There's plenty of poor people who are white who are also affected by the same exact policies.
But
this happens.
Right. Absolutely. Go ahead, Nash.
You know what's missing even in that position? See, again, you guys have obviously already read things. People don't agree because they haven't read the same books.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So you're interjecting a higher level thinking process from a more objective position and a factual position. But if they're assuming those things from that standpoint, if you're trying to bring them up, you have to meet them where they're at. They don't. All of those words, I understand them. Now, everybody else that may not understand them, white, black, I don't care. The thing that they understand is, one, how did this make me feel? And that sounds racist. And you limit it on social media based on A, the amount of characters, B, how fast you can type.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So really,
and you're kind of faceless. You're really faceless there.
It has to be in a space where you have somebody that you're behind that you're not even triggering that thing from them. When that other person looks like them, or even if they're white, if I know you from the same, like y'all was saying, Fishtown, Kensington, he's white, he's had the same cultural experiences that I have. So I know he's not racist. You feel what I'm saying? So it's so many, it's like an onion. It's very layered, you know?
Yep. It's a good point. This has been a great show. You're an excellent guest, Maj. Can you please tell everybody how they can help you with money and where they can buy your sweaters again?
Yeah. Well, one, do not ever buy a sweater offline. That's number one.
That's a white people thing.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about here. They can get the Black Guns Matter hoodies. It's hoodie season. You can get those at blackgunsmatter.bigcartel.com. The GoFundMe page is gofundme.com/Black Guns Matter. If you want to support either way, any donation that you give over $50, you automatically get the hoodie mailed out to you. If you just buy the t-shirt or the hoodie, you can too. That's it. Or you can hit me on social media, Maj Toure, MAJTOURE. That's Instagram and Twitter. That's my Facebook as well.
And you have links from those pages, right? You have links to your GoFundMe on those pages. I know we put one on UA today on the post, but I mean, you have links. Okay. Yeah,
it's on there. You know, and even outside of that, if you got questions, if you got, whatever part of the country you're in, whatever part of the world you're in, unless it's Australia, I can't really help you down there. But I'm saying, but like if you got questions, 4:00 in the morning, hit me up. It's me. I'll get the information or find somebody in your locality that has it. Or if you just want to talk, some shit going on, you just got pulled over by the police, you want to talk about it, hit me up.
And if you want to tell Grant to stop sending you selfies at 4 a.m., this is the time to tell him, Maj. I know that goes on, Grant. I saw your phone. It's kind of weird, but I get it.
God.
But
background.
This is a cardboard cutout right here.
Look, it's one book. The one book that he pulled out.
Yeah, right. The one that's the only real one. And then the other one, actually, I pull the book and it turns and it shows my tent that I live in under a bridge. So, but thank you so much, Maj, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Mike Lee, thank you so much for your very sterile white room there with absolutely nothing hanging on the wall.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, Matt. If you could thank your mom for me for feeding you before the show.
Yep. And
also, for having such a nice basement. People out here in California, they don't have basements, so it's cool for them to see that.
Yeah.
And Grant. Go ahead.
Maj, we have a couple of viewers from Philly, and they're asking me about when you have any Philly events coming up. Do you have any?
Yeah, we're gonna do 16th and Cecil B. Moore at the UNIA. We're gonna do that on October the 3rd, just to because we haven't been doing the classes because of the tour and getting prepped for it and everything. But yes, October the 3rd. If they hit me up on whatever social media, I'll send them the information. That's at 16th and Cecil B. Moore. It's a good balance too, because it's in the hood, but it's still Temple University. So it's kind of diverse, which is cool. But they can hit me up there and get more info. Yeah, if they in Philly. Or if they want to come to Chicago too. Like, you know what I mean? If you want to come to Chicago, it's gonna be popping, but welcome to come out.
There you go. Thanks for what you do, Maj. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I appreciate y'all for having me on.
He's gonna come to Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we on Detroit too. It's fucked up over there. It's like it's nothing over there. We coming over there.
Thank you so much, guys. Josie, thank you for listening in. Josie the Outlaw, she's over here too. And we will see you guys, next time. Grant, if you want to hit the little button.